Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another Sims 4 speed build for you, and this one is another micro home. I feel like I've been super obsessed with like the tiny home, micro home, small home genre of build recently. I am currently working on a slightly larger family home that you should probably see up on the channel a little bit later this week. But for today, we're working on this micro home and I think it turned out really lovely. I actually ended up making it for like a florist because I actually decided to add on like a small greenhouse on like that side yard space. And I was like, you know what? I think it's a florist. Like I put the flower arranging table out there and just a bunch of flowers. And I just think it turned out so cute. And right now I feel like it looks a little bit insane. Okay, not insane. That's a little dramatic. It looks a little odd. I do end up getting rid of that like little space like out in front there on the right side. So I take one of them out because I think having like two of those was just too much. And I kind of use that as a way to add on like a little bit more space to the house without actually adding floor tiles based on the game's like count. And I will say, so the micro home is technically 32 tiles is like your max that you can use, and the interior of that building is 32 tiles. And basically what I end up doing for like the greenhouse is I just use like a roof and I put walls around almost the whole thing. But not quite. So since I didn't actually like close off that space, the game doesn't recognize it as having like more floor tiles, but it is covered. So you should be able to, I'm pretty sure you can plant any plants no matter the season. So if you do have seasons installed, I think you can still plant things. Let me know if that's incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that's true. And so I end up just adding like a bunch of like gardening florist stuff in there. And I'm not gonna lie though, I did struggle a bit at the beginning trying to find, I don't know, like the identity of this home on the exterior. Like, I don't know, I think I just got the idea in my head that I wanted, first of all, to do like a micro home, but also like I wanted that little like outdoor space out in front. And that's about all I went into this build with, and then just kind of went from there. And shocker, I do put a lot of vegetation out here, but I think it looks so lovely. And I think, you know, making it a home for like a florist, it does make a lot of sense to have like a lot of like flowers and bushes and things, because I'm thinking this sim does enjoy taking care of their landscaping so that they would have like a really lush yard. And I do actually end up adding in some fountains here, which I feel like, I don't know, this sounds crazy. I don't think I've actually ever made a fountain. Like, I've made pools and I've like put stuff in pools that kind of look like fountains, and I've used the fountain items, but I don't think I've actually used the tool where you draw out your own fountain, and I ended up using that. So that's kind of fun. So your sim's not going to I don't think your sim's going to randomly like swim in the little fountain like water features that I've added to the yard, which I think sometimes like happens in my builds. Like I use the pool tool or something, and then I end up like your sim probably wants to like swim in it, which I mean, these spaces that I've created are literally one tile wide. Like that would kind of be ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like if it was a larger space, like, you know, why not let your sims, you know, swim in it? That's fine. You know, like just, you know, let them have a little bit of fun. But in this case, it's one tile wide. There's no need for that. Like you don't, like what is your sim gonna do? But anyways, so I do end up adding that in there, and it does kind of mess up my door. So I do end up swapping the door out for a slightly larger one, because it just felt like it made more sense given how I had to like fix those fountain areas. And so like I've never actually used like the fountain, like what, I don't know, what is that called? Like the edge of it, the trim. I think it's called a trim. Like I've never really used that, and I do actually end up working on them a little bit like off camera, that sounds really like it's okay. Anyways, off of what you're actually watching, because I started out by using like the small features, but they ended up, once I brought a sim to the lot, like they just ended up being too small. Like you couldn't even tell they were there, because I wanted some like water coming out of those things, you know what I mean? And it to be this like kind of cool, interesting feature, but the small ones just didn't work super well. So I did a lot of testing and swapped them out for like the medium size one. So in the screenshot, you'll like see what that actually ends up looking like. And I think in a little bit after I actually bring a sim to this lot and I continue building, you can kind of see them. They kind of like freeze frame. You can see kind of what that would look like. And I think it turned out actually really lovely. lovely. And I have this nice dedicated flower arranging area, which if you wanted to add like a roof over that, of course you can do so. But I decided to kind of leave it open since we do have like so much going on in the lot already. And I do end up adding a little bit of like grass and stuff inside of there because it just felt very flat, if that makes sense. Like that fountain just didn't like have enough pizzazz. I don't know. I don't know what to call it. It just didn't have the extra something that I was looking for. So I ended up adding some like rocks, and the rocks also serve to help cover up like the lights that I put in there and to cover up the actual like fountain features. Like I shrunk them down so you can't really see them, but they're still water, if that makes sense. I don't know why I felt like I needed to cover those up. I don't know. I didn't want to look at them. That sounds so ridiculous, but you can see here I actually do have a closed off bathroom and bedroom in this home, so I am really excited about that. I did also include a laptop on the dining table, which we have a dining table. We have like basically everything, so I am really excited about that. And I will say though that I didn't do the like trick you can do with like a 3-tile bathroom where you can use like one of the like either the one from college, oh my gosh, why can't I today with PAX, the university, oh my goodness, Discover University or Snowy Escape, there it is, those are the two that I was thinking of, both of those have that like freestanding kind of shower you can place, and you can place it actually right in front of the door and it'll still fit, but I decided that I actually wanted to add in a window in the bathroom, which I know is kind of interesting choice, but I don't know. I just really wanted that. I wanted to bring more light in, so I didn't end up using that shower. So there's not a sink in that bathroom, but there's a sink in the kitchen, which is like, it's right there. It's a really small home, so like your sim can go and just wash their hands there instead. But of course, if you want to download this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery under my ID, Spice and Sprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. So if you want to download it and change it and do put a sink in there, like that's totally up to you, like I don't mind, and change it to what would be good for your particular gameplay. And honestly, when I came inside, I didn't know what colors I wanted to use, and I found that lovely tile from Parenthood, and that kind of like set the tone for like the colors I was using, and I got to use that really lovely love seat from the Book Nook kit, which I think just looks so nice in here and help bring in a little bit of that like orangey kind of tone, playing off of that yellow from the tile there. And I think it just kind of warmed up this space a little bit. Like I think I have a hard time, I feel like, I don't know, like maybe truly modern builds, like to me a lot of times might come off a little bit cold or just not as like warm and cozy. And I guess, I don't know, am I just a cozy kind of builder? Like I have a hard time with that. Like maybe I do. Maybe I need to really make an effort to try to do like a truly minimalistic, modern build and like, you know, just not use as much clutter, which, you know, if you've been watching me for a while, I use a lot of clutter. I really like cluttering spaces. I think they just make me feel like it's just more lived in, if that makes sense. But maybe I need to try actually doing a truly minimalistic build. I don't know. I feel like I would almost need to research it and give myself some ideas of what the interior should look like, because I don't know, it's just something I have a really hard time with, which is kind of funny because like in my own home, I don't like a ton of clutter everywhere. That honestly kind of like stresses me out and causes me anxiety. Like if my like kitchen counters are covered in stuff, like I don't like it. So like I like having my counters clear, which is again kind of funny because I like putting stuff all over the counters in The Sims. But I think like, I don't know. Like, in The Sims, I feel like it's harder to actually portray, like, that lived-in feel, so maybe that's why I use a lot of clutter. But I also know that if you've actually seen any of my face cam videos, or you watch me over on Twitch, like, my office looks kind of chaotic. Like, I have a bunch of, like, squishmallows and all kinds of stuff everywhere. It's super, like, rainbow colorful, like, but it's a lot of stuff, but, like, it's a fairly big room, so it's kind of, like, out of the way. Like, I don't feel like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of, I guess my office to me is almost like my set, you know, like my workplace. I don't know. Anyways, that's a totally long, like, detour we just took there, but you can see that I put a small dining table over in the corner with a laptop, and of course you can feel free to get rid of that if you'd like to. I just like to include it in case, you know, your sim actually needs to use it. And then this actually ended up coming out to be only 45,000 simoleons, which I know I say only, like this is such a small home. How did I spend that much money? However, Like, I do. Some of my builds are really expensive, and I don't try. I promise. I really don't try. Like, budget builds are very hard for me. Because I just like kind of doing whatever I want to, but I do have several starter homes like up on my channel and up on the gallery and all that kind of good stuff. Like I do try to do like smaller like budget builds, but I don't know. I have a harder time, but that one's actually not that expensive. You know what I mean? And anyways, I end up actually creating a small like closet space over in that little nook we created. And I will say when I play tested this, I did end up having just to move the bed over into the corner because I think it should have worked if I wasn't like worried about like intersecting stuff with the curtain that was there, if that makes sense. Like I didn't want to shove like the nightstand into the curtain. So anyways, you shouldn't have an issue having two Sims here. They should be able to figure it out, at least in my game they can. So hopefully that is the case. But if you wanted to move it back into the middle of the room, you could just get rid of maybe the nightstand or something and just kind of like shuffle the things around a little bit. And I'm thinking you shouldn't have an issue, but the Sim just didn't want to get to the side of the bed. So anyways, in the screenshots, it'll look a little bit different, and that's why. It's just because I needed to do that so your Sim can actually, you know, get around. But I guess on that note, it has been play tested. So if you want to download it, you shouldn't have any issues, right? And just because I feel like we have a lot of new people on the channel, or if you like are newer to The Sims, be sure to have bb.move objects enabled when you place this home, because I do use it when I'm playing. It basically allows you to intersect objects that you wouldn't usually be able to. So if it's not on when you place the lot, it'll like items will get deleted, like all of that kind of stuff. So just as like a friendly reminder to make sure that is on when you are actually placing this home. But anyways, I don't know why I just had like a weird like breathing thing all of a sudden. Like, I don't know if y'all heard that, but oh my goodness. Like, I think I'm talking too fast. I'm too excited about this build. Like, I need to just like take a breath. I feel like you probably think that a lot. Like, if you watch my videos, like, why are you talking that fast? And I apologize. I guess I'm just like excited about, about talking to you all. But anyways, just finishing this little outdoor area. And I do actually end up adding in some string lights in that area too, which I think it ended up looking so cute. I think I did that as well, like off camera. I think after I finished filming, I was like, because I think I ended up putting some in the greenhouse area, and so I was like, oh no, I need to add some over there too. So those will show up in the screenshots. And actually the last screenshot I have is this build at night, and I think it looks really pretty, so be sure to stick around for that. And also, just as a reminder, like if you don't have notifications turned on, to turn those on so you know actually when I upload, like, because I am curious, like if people are notified sometimes, like I don't get notified about my own uploads. Like I feel like that's so weird. Anyways, that's just again a random thought that I had the other day, and I end up basically just adding, because this is going to be a florist, like I just add a bunch of flowers, like just a bunch of stuff. I'm thinking this is like, these are bouquets that they've made, and I just think it's so colorful and pretty. I actually really love the way it turned out. I end up putting in several like small planters and then a big one kind of in the middle, and that was also play tested. Your Sim can actually get to all those. And I did actually end up getting some perfect flower plants off the gallery and placing those in there, so you can actually like immediately have flowers ready to grow. So you can of course delete those and plant your own if you'd like to, but I wanted them there in case, you know, you wanted to just go ahead and start with those. But like hopefully that makes sense, so you shouldn't have any issues. But yeah, I end up adding some string lights in here, and I think that just adds a nice little glow to this space. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye everybody.